Hi, this is a departure from my normal content. If you know anything about me, I mainly record bass covers of songs that I have been learning, but this is the second time I've recorded this because I rambled on a lot, and also there has been something that has been published. I'll get onto that. But yeah, this video is about generative AI, and I'm sure by the title and the thumbnail you can probably figure out my thoughts on it. One of the main arguments I hear for the use of generative AI is people who are constantly working and they just don't have time to pursue a creative thing such as drawing, learning an instrument, whatever, writing books. And my perspective on that is that I am working full-time at a job that I hate, at a failing company that does not care about me at all. I'm doing more than 48 hours a week some weeks, and plenty of weeks actually, and I still find the time to play bass, to learn songs, to record things. And yes, it is hard to find the time to do that, especially if you're doing that every week. Unfortunately, some weeks I'm working less than 48 hours a week. Legal maximum, by the way. It is really hard to find the time to do it, and what I think some people think is that you need to spend 7 hours every single day mastering your craft in order to get anywhere, and that's not what you need to do in order to pursue a creative endeavour. The point is, there is always something you can do to find some time to pursue creative endeavours, even if it's only 5 minutes a day. I think some people think you need to spend hours at a time practicing, getting better, studying, and all that, and yes, it is good to be able to have hours to spend doing it, but some people just don't. And it's better to do 5 minutes a day than to do one block of 3 hours once a week, because if you dedicate 5 minutes a day, it's a lot lower stakes, and you can get into it easier. And then you might find that you end up spending 15 minutes, 20 minutes, maybe you do end up spending an hour, but because it was only a 5-minute thing that you had in your head, you could get into it easier and you find yourself flowing better. But if you spend an entire week building up to this 3-hour session that you've got planned, it can be a bit daunting, and that's where you're more likely to give up, because you've got this hurdle to overcome. Sometimes most of my practice gets done in the middle of the night, because that's the only time that I've got where I can play. But creating a regular thing where you engage in your creative activities, it helps you maintain the habit, and habits are important. Think if you go to the gym once a month, you're not gonna get hench from lifting like a single, 200 kilogram weight once and then not doing anything for another month. You need to be going regularly. Like you need to be going X amount of times a week. Let's say twice a week. You need to be working on different things. You need to be training your muscles to get stronger. And creativity is like a muscle. You need to train it to get better at it. And regular training is better than one big block of irregular training. But yeah, my point is that yes, it's hard, but you can do it. You might not necessarily be the next Picasso or Eddie Van Halen or Shakespeare, but that's not the point of creating art. Creating art is being able to express what you want to express, and you don't need to be a virtuoso or anything like that. You need to connect with yourself point of art is to be able to express what you want to express, and you need to train that. And yes, you're gonna suck. Everyone sucks. Everyone starts everything terrible. The only way you can get good is by doing it. And I feel like, think about it like learning to talk. You weren't fluent in your native language when you were born. You had to learn how to speak it. You had people around you who showed you how to use these words by just using them, and you figured out what those words meant and how to use them. And yeah, you made mistakes. Yeah, you used words in the wrong context, but that's not the point. You were learning to speak, and it was something that you needed to do. But I might use the clip from when I last recorded this, to be fair, because I don't know if I'll be able to word it as well as I did then. And I think that because art isn't something that you need to do, people view it differently. People view it like you need to be good to do it, rather than you need to do it to be good. I feel like because people view art that way, they justify generative AI as like a shortcut, because, oh, I'm not talented, so I can't do it, so I need generative AI to be able to express what I want to express. And talent is a whole other can of worms. All I'm going to say is I don't believe in it. I don't believe in talent at all. I think talent is just an excuse for... It's not an excuse. I think it's an incredibly reductive way to view art forms, and we shouldn't view prodigies of different art forms as being talented. We should view them as people who've put in hundreds, thousands of hours to honing their craft because they love it. And yeah, some people do make it a lot further than others, and I suppose in a sense talent does exist there. That's not the point. But I feel like it's that same mentality that people are using with generative AI, and I just don't like it. I don't like it at all. So I've been playing bass for 10 years nearly. It'll be 10 years in July, and I'm nowhere near as good as I want to be. I'm nowhere near the level that I feel I should be, and that is okay. That is normal. Most people will feel like that about themselves, and if you don't feel like that, if you feel like you're exactly where you want to be, all the more power to you. But I feel like the only way you can grow as an artist is to be constantly pushing yourself, to be constantly striving to be better, to be setting goals further into the future for yourself. And it is important to look back on what you've accomplished already and to be proud of that, because you've done that, and it's good to be proud of what you've done. And finding the balance between being proud of what you've done so far and pushing yourself further, that is key to getting better, in my opinion at least. And there's other things that I'm doing as well. I'm not just doing music, I'm doing video recording, video editing, I'm doing photography, and I suck at all of those. And that's okay. You need to suck to get good. So this morning I saw an article on The Hollywood Reporter about Suno, the AI music program that they've just announced what they call an incubator program. Essentially what they're offering with this incubator program is to offer indie artists a way to reach fans and finish projects and to grow their careers. A bit like a publisher. The difference is publishers don't have a database of stolen assets from their artists. All of these AI models are built off millions and millions of stolen images, videos, songs, any form of media. Everything that they have is stolen. There's been no compensation given to any artist. There's been no opt-in, there's been no opt-out. It was just forced on everyone, and it's all done without consent. And that's the most disgusting part about it, because the CEO for Midjourney, David Holt, he admitted to stealing, because he said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that there's no way that they could attribute credit to every single image that they scraped. And it's just so gross. Like what gives him the right to take everything that anyone has ever created and stick it into a slop training model? And the thing is, without the real artists who've been creating real art that has been stolen, these models have nothing. There's no way for them to create anything original on their own. And art is a uniquely human experience, and it cannot and it should not ever be turned into an algorithm to pump out slop. Like, it's all just so gross. And Marty Schulman, I think he's called, the CEO or founder of Suno, he said that making music should be more like the video game industry, and like it should be as engaging as playing a video game. And like,
you said to me before, music should more closely resemble a video game in the future.
The thing about video games is that they're interactive, they're engaging, they're rich experiences, they're fun by yourself, they're more fun with your friends. And when I think about what music should be for me, it should be all of those things. So in that sense, I want to make music more like a video game. To me, it seems like just crazy that music should not be as engaging as Fortnite.
I find creating music with my friends, with my band members, who are my friends, I find that more engaging than playing video games. I would rather spend 6 hours in a rehearsal studio pissing about, making music, having fun. I'd rather spend 6 hours doing that than spend 6 hours playing video games, even if it's with my friends. Because gaming is not inherently more engaging than making music. It might be to Marty Schulman. I don't care what his opinion is. He shouldn't have one. He's not in the music industry for making music. He's in it for money. He's in it for exploiting people. He's in it for stealing things that people have already made so he can profit off it. And it's just so gross. Yeah, I just don't like any of these AI company CEOs, especially Marty Schulman. He's the one I despise the most. They're all as bad as each other. I just personally have more reasons to loathe Marty Schulman than Sam Altman, who I also do not like. But these CEOs, they know exactly what they're doing. They know that this technology is not sustainable. They know that the costs are ballooning, and they know that there's no way to recoup what's been invested without making the consumer pay for it. Because while it might be cheaper to get ChatGPT or whatever to generate the image that you want for whatever than it would be to commission an artist, that's not necessarily going to be true for the next few years. Maybe in 5 years' time, and it probably will, the price will go up, and you might have to pay $200 a month for the basic ChatGPT functions, and you can find some incredible artists who will charge less than that. And the thing is, if you use AI to generate the images that you want, it might stay cheap for now, but it won't forever. It will get more expensive. The investors want their money back. They've invested an obscene amount of money into this industry, and you will be the first one thrown under the bus. The general consumer always ends up paying for these things. The general public always ends up paying for the failures of big tech CEOs who only care about turning a profit, who only care about lining their own pockets, who only care about making themselves look better, who will destroy the planet just to get a few extra dollars in their pocket. And it's so disgusting, and I hate it so much. And eventually, when the AI bubble pops, when people realize that this technology is completely unsustainable, when people realize that far too much money has been invested into the AI industry, and in all the wrong places as well, I think people who genuinely do have a desire to create, but have been tricked into thinking that they can only create with AI because they're not talented to be able to create what they want. Those people hopefully will realize that they never needed AI in the first place. And then we'll have them creating actual art. That's what I hope for. You don't need AI. AI needs you far more than you need it. And it's designed to offload your thinking, your creativity, your skills, your intelligence onto it. Don't rob yourself of the joy of learning. Don't rob yourself of the joy of creativity. Pick up a pencil. Pick up some paper. Make a silly little doodle. Make a little comic about that silly little doodle going on an adventure. Do something silly. Do something fun. You don't need AI to have fun. You don't need AI to create art. Hello, I just want to say thank you for watching my video. Hopefully you made it to the end. I just want to take a few seconds to say thank you to my friends who encouraged me to make this video, because without them, I would probably have never even thought to make this video. Hopefully I won't have to make any more videos like this, and hopefully I will be back into the normal, usual content relatively soon. Keep your eyeballs peeled, and watch whatever video YouTube recommends you to watch now.